point, Vishnu, what's the situation where you are?
Well, we've just been able to enter Lviv in the last 1 hour or so. Crossing over the border from eastern Poland into the Ukraine region has been extremely difficult. There are multiple checkpoints on the way. And all along the route, we were actually able to spot small groups of people trying to exit Poland. But there is an incredibly large security apparatus, an incredibly large security presence in the entire area. There are roadblocks and checkpoints even once you enter Ukraine every few kilometers. And the journey just after crossing the border from Poland, from the Polish side to the Ukrainian side, going through all the formalities over there, there is absolutely no protocol for letting people in the other direction. And then traveling, 1.5 hours to Lviv has proven to be extremely difficult. But it did give us an idea of what the situation is in the area. Multiple checkposts, and obviously we can't film these checkposts because, of security concerns. Repeated questions as you're passing by from any number of police and other officials saying, why are you here? What is your business? What purpose are you here for? Now, Lviv is the largest Ukrainian city in the western part of this country. And over here, we've seen lots of missions, including the Indian mission, relocate from Kyiv. It is very much a diplomatic sort of front as Russia tries to push westwards. But people over here that I've been speaking to have expressed much the same as we've been hearing for the last several days, which is utter outrage, anger and sadness at the same time that this is taking place, in their country. It's almost unbelievable that in this century, something like this would take place. Now, obviously, there have been many developments in the last 24 hours. And to be honest, because of the journey I was in, I won't be able to give you the very latest updates. But I will tell you that I did manage to speak to several Indian students yesterday. This was at a little airport in eastern Poland from where they were actually being evacuated. And on the basis of that, you get a real idea of the suffering that they've gone through in the last few days. They welcome the evacuation missions now, but just having to walk 70 kilometers in certain cases, to being pushed around, in some cases beaten by the police, to being out in the cold. And I can tell you it's bitterly cold right now. It's been an absolute ordeal for all of those students. So that's the situation right now in Lviv. This is a city which remains standing. There are air raid sirens which go off every now and again. I haven't heard them as yet, but I'm told that they do. And then obviously this is an area where Ukrainian forces would be setting up their own defenses to prevent any or to fight off any possible Russian attack. So this is the ground situation at this juncture from Lviv.
Vishnu, you said you've crossed over, from the Polish border. Now, that's the area where, most Indian students are trying to get to. What more information can you share at the moment of the situation on the border? Are there still long queues? Do they still have to wait multiple nights?
Yes, absolutely. There are extremely long queues at this stage. I saw many of these queues as I was, in the process of trying to exit. But I couldn't spot very many Indian students today, or those who look like Indians. They could be from anywhere in South Asia. There were dozens of vehicles on the Ukrainian side of people inside waiting very patiently. They would be let off the vehicles. They would try and get to the border. They would have to wait for several hours before their individual cases were being processed. Women have easier access from Ukraine into Poland. It's tougher for men, certainly tougher or if not impossible, for Ukrainian men to cross over from Ukraine to the west, to Poland itself at this juncture. But that's what it pretty much is at this stage.